Good morning, everybody. Very, very warm welcome to a Taurex and Atmos live trading session today. Hope everyone is doing well and had a good week in the market so far. It's been a great one for us. The community have really smashed the analysis, which I'm really happy with. If you are around today, feel free to pop up and say hello. This is the first time actually that we've sent the link out to the Atmos community as well. It's actually the first day I've got my branded t-shirt on as well, which is good stuff. So we're going to be streaming. We're going to be doing all things prop trading, all things markets, finding trade ideas, live Q&As as well. If anyone has any questions for any of the streams that I do, as I always say, make sure you pop those questions in the chat room. I can see people messaging me on the Discord channels. If you can message me on the YouTube chat, it's better because I'll have to just click through both, but it's fine. It's fine. Laura, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Curtin, hello to you. Can you have a look at the DAX this morning? Yes, no problem. I can do that. Faku the Trader, hello to you as well over on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you are doing well, and I hope you've had a good start to the week in the market. So we're now into Wednesday, which means that we're into the real main meat of the week, which is where we get the most volatility, which is where we can get most of the market moves. And we've got a few updates today. My own personal crude oil trade, which I posted in the Discord channel yesterday, is running really nicely, and I know some people managed to get in on that. So if you did, well done to you, and I hope you managed to take some profit off the table as well. We've also got some crude oil inventories out later on, so I want to make sure that I cover that. And also we've got Nvidia earnings, so we're going to do a quick breakdown of that as well. And then anything else anyone has any questions on, then as I said, please pop it in the chat section, and I'll be more than happy to help. Okay, right, so I normally like to, if there's initial requests, I've got two, one's on Eurodollar and one's on the DAX, so yes, no problem, I will go through them now. If I just quickly load up my charts. So let's just quickly look at Eurodollar first of all. One of the requests that I had last night was to look for Eurodollar today, so I hope you are watching, the person who requested that. A lot of people do watch this on catch up. So my Eurodollar view hasn't changed one bit, to be honest. We can see that we're on a grind higher. You can see that the RSI's ticked up higher as well. But for me, this level here, this high, was it at 1.5, 1.53? For me, that remains a very important high. What I'm expecting is basically this. I've already drawn, sort of preempt what I'm expecting, but let me just get rid of all of this so we can make it nice and clean. I don't even care about the RSI really. This is a pure liquidity play. So I'm thinking for those people who are desperate to try and get into this potential new dollar wave of upside, which I think could be coming throughout next month, then I imagine that if they were selling euro dollar, where the liquidity would be is probably here at this high. So what I'm looking for is I'm waiting for the time when, and I'm fairly confident that it will, without being absolutely sure, that we will see this high be taken out. Now, when we get a situation where the market trades into this high, what I'll be looking for is either a full candle closure above the high or a liquidity grab to then go lower. If we get a full candle closure above the high, but then we get, let me just mark that. So we get a full, say for example, we get a full candle closure above this high, then we could probably say we may be shaping up for a move up to 106. But if the market trades into the high, but closes back inside, I think then we'll probably see rotation back down towards maybe around this area at 1.035. So that's my views on Eurodollar. At the moment, it's not in an area where I'm looking to trade as such, because if I was looking to buy, then probably my take profit would be at this high. The risk versus reward wouldn't be right, and I'm certainly not looking to sell it just yet until we get confirmation with a liquidity grab on this high. Okay, the DAX. I mean, Curtin, I know you're... did you manage to get in this at all? Because it's running really nicely. Yeah, it was a really simple trade, wasn't it? From the beginning of the week, fair value gap test. I don't really know what else to say other than the fact that, if you're like me and you didn't manage to get into this move, then It's just one of those things. So you can, pat yourself on the back that you've had some good analysis. Hello to you, Curtin. Well, yeah, good to see you. Did you manage to get into this move? It doesn't matter if you can message me on Discord as well. It doesn't matter too much. I mean, yeah, and okay, so this move's gone, right? I didn't manage to personally get into it, but it's fantastic analysis either way, and a really good spot from you, Curtin. Now, for me, going forward, we don't need to dwell on the past too much. What about now, potentially coming up and filling all of this imbalance that we see? For me, this becomes the next area where I think we could be seeing the DAX move up to. Sorry, excuse me. So, where can we get that from? Okay, let's try and find that. So, if we follow what happened, this is what I always do. I always go back and sort of like follow the story. So, there's the fair value gap, move higher, tested the fair value gap, then we moved higher again, change of character, tested this this blue area of support. This is like a demand zone. Moved higher again. Now we've actually broken structure. For me, the next sort of trade that could be actionable would be this demand zone. Now, probably going to have to cover. Let's have a look. There's some liquidity. We've already taken that liquidity. This is all balanced as well. It's actually a really nice risk reward. And if we look at where we were targeting before, it's a nearly a 10-to-1 risk reward if you were trading off that demand zone. That's not too bad, actually. That is not too bad at all. Okay. And the reason I like it as well is because what I was thinking is if we drop down onto the 15-minute time frame, if you look at this area down here, we've already sort of grabbed liquidity on this low already. So that puts this, for me personally, this puts this area here as a sort of a valid stop loss. So if I just, and that's at 2,500. So if we just cover maybe down to 293, just in case we do tap into 22,500, and that becomes something that's quite a good 7.5 risk reward. In fact, that's something that I'm willing to place a 1% risk on personally. So I will be doing that. So what I'll do, as always, is I'll share this in the Discord channel. In the trade ideas section. And this is my DE40 buy from live stream. So I'll be risking 1% on that as a buy limit trade, actually, and let it go. See how we go this week. Good stuff. Right, okay. Let's quickly talk about oil. I mean, this is about as clean as it gets. Absolutely buzzing with this. So, there were so many confluences for me here, which is why I obviously placed the trade. Fundamentally, let's just talk fundamentally first of all. There's definitely a threat of higher supply. OPEC have been delaying their production hikes, but that's just delaying the inevitable. Trump wants to produce more oil, quite clearly. And we've now had the potential talk and progress in the peace talks between, I say Russia and Ukraine, but it's more Russia and it's more Putin and Trump, but obviously Ukraine on the table. And that removes a lot of the supply constraint as well. Then what we saw from a technical perspective on a daily time frame was this this one here, this really bearish candle closure, and a typical Monday where it was a low volume rally above. But if we actually look what happened on the on the 1 hour time frame, should I say, right? This low volume rally, which had no substance to it at all, no volume to it at all, moved up and tested our fair value gap. Didn't quite hit the 50%, but we saw a reaction, and it actually created this sort of triangle pattern, which we then broke out of and then retested right where the EMA 12 is, and also on the 4 hour time frame. Look right there. So it was a really clean entry. Had zero drawdown at all, literally zero drawdown, and we've actually traded now down towards 69. What the great thing about this is that we saw a closure below 70, because 70 was always that sort of whole number psychological support that was, I thought we could see a bounce from, which we saw a bounce from here. But we've now, look how aggressively, once 70 went, look how aggressively we went, and now we're sort of in this low volume rally period again. Now I believe, and you can see all my take profits down at 67.5. Now we've had this move lower, and that candle closure yesterday, I've now moved my stop loss to my entry point. So I closed half the trade at 1-to-1. I then closed a little bit more once we got to 2-to-1, and then moved my stop loss to entry. So I'm now completely risk free and aiming for 67.5. Now look, I say historically, but in the past, really over the last sort of few years, look how this area between 65 and 70 has found support. So I don't want to be too greedy here and like start going, well, let's just aim for like this low down here at 63. I'm happy with a 10-to-1. 67.5 is my area for oil. And if we do hit that, then I'll reevaluate and see where we can go from there. Okay. Good stuff. Right. The other thing I wanted to talk about just quickly was obviously the crude oil inventories that we've got as well. So 2.5 million is the forecast, 4.6 was the previous. Simple terms, if we see higher crude oil inventories, that will help my short, hopefully. And you can see the last four crude oil inventory reports have seen higher supply than what the forecast is. So that hopefully will be number 5, and then we can look for hopefully that move today down towards where my personal take profit is. Okay. Good stuff. Right. The final thing I wanted to point you in the direction of, which I actually forgot in my weekly preview on Monday. It's poor of me, but these Nvidia earnings, massive implications on not just Nvidia stock as a whole, but the whole tech sector and the whole of the stock market. Why? Because obviously Nvidia, I think it's now, maybe not just now, but it's ping-ponging them and Apple as being the most valuable company in the world. So when they release their earnings reports, we should be, really tuning in and listening to it. So that earnings report is out later today after the closing bell, and I was just looking at some of the forecasts here on what to expect. So Nvidia stock has gained about 65% over the past year, primarily due to booming demand for its advanced AI graphics. Wall Street expects strong revenue and profit growth for Nvidia. In particular, analysts anticipate that the Nvidia will report earnings of 0.84 per share, reflecting a 63% year-over-year increase. So, analyst opinion stock. Just reading some of this. Oh, don't know what's happened there. There we go. Let's have a look. Wall Street sentiment on Nvidia appears bullish, reflecting a combination of 31 buy and 2 hold recommendations over the past 3 months. An average price target of 178.81. The average Nvidia stock price target implies 37.25% upside potential. Interesting. So, look, the earnings report is going to be strong. That's just pretty much a fact. Whether it beats estimates or not, we shall see. The slight issue I have is that the estimates and the valuations for some of these big guys now are so wafting, so high, that it will take a lot to beat it. But even if it doesn't quite beat it as such, even if it's slightly under the forecast, it's still going to be a very impressive set of earnings, right? And I think, in my opinion, we should be looking for any dips in Nvidia stock to capitalize from, or any dips in the Nasdaq as a result. Now, if I go onto the charts, and I'll show you the Nasdaq first of all, because this is something that I marked in my weekly preview. Obviously, we've had now 7 consecutive days of downside in the Nasdaq. Wow, we're crashing. Bitcoin's crypto's crashing, risk assets are crashing, whatever. No, we are still respecting the current upwards channel here. Okay, if this area goes below this wick that was created yesterday, if that breaks, if 21,000 breaks, okay, then we could be shaping up for a deeper correction. I wouldn't say down to 18,000, but maybe at least down to 20,000. However, it wouldn't surprise me, and the probabilities would tell you that this is a market that will continue to find support. That doesn't take a genius to figure that one out when you look at the current market structure. Now, I quite like the fact that yesterday, if you see where we came down and tested pretty much right on that trend line, you can see we tested that quite nicely. And yeah, I mean, this shapes up potentially a good it shapes up I think a move potentially up to, if I look at this daily, we've got some imbalance in there, it becomes a decent little target. We love FEGs. Okay, I'm just breaking it down just to see, I mean, look at this. There's the reaction pretty much from that daily trend line. 15-minute time frame. Fair value gap. Right into the 50%. Actually a bit annoyed I missed this, but it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so I can't do much about that. Boom, there's the reaction. So for me, it's about just trying to continue on with this momentum. We're now breaking higher again. So I think if we manage to get a dip in the New York session today, down in towards an FVG or an order block that you can find, or any sort of support area around between 21.2 and 21.150, between that sort of range, if you can find a support area there, I think it could be potentially a wise move to look to try and, cash in on the dip that we're currently seeing. Nvidia stock as well, look. There was the biggest fall in history, and we're sort of near the bottom of that now. This is it from when you zoom out on a higher time frame perspective. This just sort of looks like, can we create, basically what I'm looking for is, can we create that next higher low? And can we get that next distribution move to the upside? That's pretty much what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily trade Nvidia stock individually. I normally trade the indices, but you can trade Nvidia stock, of course you can. So with the fact that we've had, 3 fairly big days of downside, if we get a strong earnings report today, I expect this low to hold easily, and I actually expect us to quite aggressively probably make a move up towards the 140 area again, if their earnings report strong. So in tomorrow's stream, I will update and see how we got on that, and see if we can break down what that earnings report was about, and see if that move did occur, or the earnings report's weaker and we see further downside and then we're into correction territory on these tech stocks. Again though, I wouldn't mind that in the long term, because this is just creating a potentially good opportunity in the next few months to buy the dip. Okay, good stuff. Right, is there any other questions that anyone has on any of the channels? I don't think we do. I think we seem to be all good. Now this is a session which is recorded as well, so feel free to to catch up at any time. And if you have questions after the stream, feel free to message me on any of the Discord channels on Atmos or on Taurex, and I'll be more than happy to help. Until then, I hope everyone has a good trading day. Should be plenty of opportunity. I'll be monitoring my oil trade, and I'm about to go and place the German, the DAX trade as well. Good luck to those trading today. Trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you all for tomorrow's stream. Thank you.